Now here we can find payment process request status, PPR status. Recently, whatever the payment process requests completed successfully, we can find here. Whatever the PPR attention is required, attention is nothing but waiting for the user action to go to the next level. And here we can find the terminated due to some error, or manually we might have terminated some of the PPRs. So if I look at here, payment process request, the document has got failed. This, of course, we have terminated manually. And if we look at here, the second one, which is failed document validation. So when we click on this, we'll come to know what is the reason why this payment process request got failed here, and what are the selection criteria and payment processing options here. We selected the bank account, Bank of America 870. That's the bank account we have selected. And selection criteria, we have selected invoice group. Fine. Okay. And if we required the detailed information about this error, we need to go to the task list and go to manage payment process request. Search for the payment process request, whatever we created. Oh, this is what the payment process request we created. Status is failed document validation. And invoices got rejected. Click on the invoices, we'll come to know the detailed information. The P1 invoice has got rejected because the disbursed bank account is not set up for the combination of currency and the business unit. So in PPR, we have selected a disbursement bank account, means from which bank account we would like to disburse the amount to supplier, that we have selected. But actually, whatever the invoice business unit is there and your bank account business unit is there, both are mismatched. So that business unit is completely different. So the invoice we created P1 for the business unit called US1 business unit, but your bank account is not associated with that business unit. That's what it is showing there. Error message, the business unit payment method currency bank account falls outside the usage rules for your payment process. So we need to cross check. We know that invoice is created for US1 business unit. Where do we find that? We can get it from invoices functional area. Let's go to task list here. And of course, we can last 24 hours, we can see what are the invoices completed here. And we can find this invoices for which business unit, US1 BU. But when we go for the bank account, whatever we are using, disbursement bank account, that is completely different, right? Let's go back to bank account, ask here. Manage bank accounts, search with a bank account name, 870 we have used. Now what system is telling us, this legal entity is different, Supremo legal entity. The bank account is associated with this legal entity, this business unit. So you can make the payments to suppliers who are having the invoices in this BU only. You cannot make the payment for other BU. This bank account is associated only for this legal entity and for this business unit. Okay, let me come back with, that's the reason we got error message. That's the reason we got error message. Let me go back to the payments process request. Here in the selection criteria, we can specify exactly which business unit payment method you wanted to use that. Yes. So business units. I'm selecting that US1 business unit here. And then invoice group, AP_1, so that it will pick the invoices which are under this group, under this US1 BU. And here is the bank account. Bank of America 2870 is there. We are not getting the 2869. 2869 is another bank account which is associated with our legal entity and business unit. Let me cross check that. I'm just checking what are the bank accounts are associated with our business unit. So if you want to know that, go to bank account. And search with your legal entity. You will come to know what are the bank accounts are there in your legal entity. There are 3. Bank of America 2869 is there. Netting bank account is there. WF Wells Fargo bank account is there. Let me cross check WF US1 account. Yes, it is associated with US1 business unit, but payment document is not there. This is sometimes issue will be getting. So we have to choose exact business account or bank account, which is enabled for our PU that we are supposed to choose. And cross-checking whether we are getting this disbursement bank account here or not. We are getting Wells Fargo here. This one account. We don't have for this bank account. Okay, so it can be processed. So let me create the payment. I just cross-checked the disbursed account, bank accounts, which are available for this PU as well as for the legal entity. So generally, we will go for rectify. This type of issues are very common when we are working in the projects, supporting especially. The payment process request might have already configured, but client says that the invoices selection process is not happening properly. Can you cross check what was the setups are done, and or we got payment failed for some of the invoice documents? Can you cross check once? So this is how we are going to cross check. So if you would like, if you want to go for debug the supporting issues, identify the root cause. If you want to know the root cause of that particular issue, we should be very clear with the module structure, business flow especially, like where it is linked and what is the dependency of that particular object. For example, if I'm checking the bank account, obviously it is associated with the legal entity, within the legal entity, business unit, and also the payment document, right? So that's how we are supposed to check.